So in this next section of this module, we're going to look at some techniques where we can create a single test and then run that test multiple times with different input test data. So in this first demo, we're going to see how we can take an existing test and execute it multiple times with different sets of specified test data. So here we've got this memory calculator data-driven tests test fixture, and at the minute we've just got a single method here, should subtract two negative numbers. So we're just creating a new memory calculator, subtracting 5 and then 10, and checking we get positive 15. And we can run this, and it passes. So what if we wanted to write some tests to subtract two different negative numbers? Well, we could go and copy and paste this test multiple times and then just change the different data parameters here and the assertion here, but this could start to introduce a lot of code duplication. We'll have essentially the same test written multiple times, just with different data parameters here. So let's turn this test into a data-driven test that we can execute multiple times with different input test data. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're actually going to add some parameters to our test method. So here we've added three parameters. The first number we want to subtract, the second number we want to subtract, and then what we expect the outcome to be in the assert. So now we've got these three parameters, we need to pass some values to them when the test executes. To do this, we can replace this test attribute with the NUnit test case attribute. And the test case attribute creates a set of test data that we want to pass to our test method. So in the test case attribute constructor here, we can specify a variable number of parameters. Each parameter that we specify here gets fed in to each parameter of our test method. So here, -5 will get passed to first number, -10 will get passed to second number, and 15 will be passed to expected number. So now we've got these parameters, we need to modify the test body here to make use of them. So instead of these hard-coded values, we're actually going to use the parameters of the test method. So first num, followed by second num, and we also need to change the assert here to remove the hard-coded expected value, and instead use the expected number parameter from our test method parameter here, that's going to be populated from our test case attribute. So if we build this and have a look in our test explorer here, notice this time we've got this slightly different format for our test method name, showing the actual test data parameters that will be passed to it. And we can run this, and our test passes. And we can see in the output window here, we've got this test case -5, -10, and 15 coming from our -5, -10, and 15. So now we've refactored this test, we can very quickly add new test cases to it. So let's add two more test cases here. A test case where we're specifying -5 for the first number, -5 for the second number, and 10 for our expected assert value. And a third test case, -5, 0, and 5. If we build this and have a look over here at our test explorer, notice this time that we've actually got three tests showing up now. The first one that we've just executed, followed by these two additional test cases that we've just added. So we've very quickly created multiple test cases by simply adding new test case attributes. And now we can run these selected tests, and our tests pass. And just to show this working, let's make a mistake here in our expected result. Let's change this to 25. Just run these tests again. Oh, we just need to build first. And notice this time we get a test failure. And if we have a look at this, we can see we expected the value 25, but it was actually 5. So let's just fix that. rebuild, and run our tests again, and now they all pass.